is that we are standing at the brink of a revolution which is going to happen in the EV segment in our country. And the recent geopolitical issues we are facing, especially the Middle East war, I think is accelerating this shift, which is going to be happening in our country in next coming years. So I think this conference on EV is going to give a great impetus to the setting up of EV charging stations infrastructure in various states and improve this coordination between the states and the center, which is very much required to make it a success. In Telangana, next one. So in Telangana, we at the state government level have been giving lot of emphasis on not just promoting EV vehicles but also setting up EV charging station infrastructure. And we have a target of setting up about 6,000 charging stations by year 2030, doubling again in the next 5 years. Though I personally feel that this is a little less ambitious, maybe it can be more ambitious by 2035. And the state government has, in the month of November 24, given 100% exemption from road tax as well as registration charges for all EV vehicles which are registered in the state. And this is still December of 2026. So that's a major incentive which the state government has given. We also have a Telangana clean and green energy policy which we launched last year, which also incentivizes not just setting up of EV charging infrastructure but also manufacturing of EV chargers within the state. We have seen a huge boom in the growth of EV vehicles in the last couple of years. Few data points. Totally today we have 2.8 lakh plus EV vehicles in the state. Most of which, bulk of which is two-wheelers, which is about 2.2 lakhs. But this is, the four-wheelers are also growing very rapidly. In the last financial year, which is 25-26, we saw about 91,000 EV vehicle registration. So you can see that almost a third of EV vehicles cumulatively in the state have been registered in the last 1 year. The invoice value of this was nearly 6,300 crores. And today, almost 5% of the vehicles in the entire state are now EV vehicles. I've given a small shot of how the EV consumption is growing on the bottom right side. In September 24, we had 2.6 million units used or consumed for EV charging. In just less than 1.5 years, March 26, this has quadrupled. That has become 4x in just a matter of 1.5 years. So in March 26, almost 12 million units of consumption was there from EV charging. Now you would ask how we are able to monitor it. Telangana is one state where we have given a special tariff segment for EV vehicles, which is much less than even the industrial segment also, not just talking about the commercial and the residential segment, but even compared to the industrial segment also, the EV charging tariff is much less. It is about 6 rupees per unit if one takes a dedicated EV charging connection. We have really given a push to it, as I was telling you, especially this incentive for exemption of road tax as well as registration charges has given a huge impetus. And there is a huge growth which is happening. Presently, if I give you a snapshot, we have got about 1,063 EV stations which have been installed all over the state. But more than that, 1,244 NOCs we have given in last couple of months for setting up new EV stations. So you can imagine this will really more than double the number of stations in next few months. The SNA for Telangana is Telangana REDCO, which is Telangana Renewable Energy Development Corporation, where we have set up a dedicated cell for EV. So they process all the schemes for encouraging EV. We secured NCAP funding. In fact, probably we were the only city which secured that funding under the National Clean Air Program, about a 35 crore project with the REDCO, which we successfully implemented, and that has given a great boost. We also are hand-holding the Telangana State Road Transport Corporation. So TGSRTC has in fact got one of the largest sanctions of EV buses under the PM E-Drive program. More than 1,000 buses have been sanctioned. So REDCO is also holding, hand-holding TGSRTC. And as I mentioned, there is a dedicated EV tariff which is there. We also increase the eligible load for EV charging for the LT category. A normal LT category in the state of Telangana would be 56 kilowatts, but for EV charging, we've increased it to 150 kilowatts with the same tariff structure. And we are currently going through a PPP process for CPO empanelment, which has given very, very good response from the CPOs within the state and also from other parts of the country. As I mentioned, TGSRTC is currently going through a 1,000 buses program, but they have targeted about 2,800 EV buses by 2027. And we are also hand-holding TGSRTC in ensuring not just the EV charging infrastructure at their bus stations, but also the strengthening of the back-end infrastructure also. Hyderabad this year won the Best Green Transport Initiative Award from the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development for cumulative standing first in the country in green initiatives in the transport sector. And I must thank the Ministry of Heavy Industries, wherein they have been very kind to, I would say, to the state. We have already got a sanction of 10 crores for Karimnagar and Warangal. And we have also posed a project for Hyderabad, which is under evaluation right now. And I'm very, very sure that the Hyderabad project also, which is a very large project, almost 698 locations with 407 crores has been posed and data has been uploaded. I'm very hopeful that a large component of that would also be sanctioned, which can actually make Hyderabad as one of the EV capitals of the country. With these few words, I thank again MHI for inviting us here. And I'm very sure that both this SNA mode as well as CPO mode, which we are actually taking up for encouraging the charging infrastructure, will definitely give a great boost to improving and accelerating this EV transition, which our country badly needs. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I would now like to call upon ACS Puneet Kumar from Kerala to give a prelude to their presentation.
Honorable Minister for Heavy Industries, Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy ji, my senior colleague and ACS Karnataka, Mr. Gaurav Gupta, my other colleagues, Mr. Naveen Mittal, Special Secretary Telangana, my Chairman Kerala State Electricity Board, Mr. Minhaz Alam, other esteemed dignitaries from the government and also from the private sectors. It is a matter of great delight that we are here assembled in this conference on the EV fast charging infrastructure. I would just like to give a brief prelude about what we have done in Kerala and how the EV charging infrastructure and the EV growth has been there in the state of Kerala. We were one of the first states with the EV charging policy which came in 2019, way before the thing has actually picked up pace across the other states and the union government also. And EV penetration as a result of this policy jumped from 5% in 2022 to 12.08% in 2025, which is now more than 14%, and it is almost the second highest in India after Delhi, which is little ahead of us. 2025 itself, we had 1,06,007 registrations, which amounted to almost 12.1% of the total number of vehicles registered in that year. And the total number of vehicles registered for the EVs till last year were 2,46,000, which has now shot up to 3,63,000, registering a growth rate of almost approximate 30% year on year. And the total EV fleet is bound to grow more when we take advantage of the PM E-Drive scheme launched by Union government under the leadership of our Honorable Minister. And we are certainly going to supplement it, take it to all the nook and corner of the state of Kerala, far and wide, so that people are able to use. The advantages in Kerala, how it is a special state, 93.4% of the EVs are personal vehicles and not fleets. Kerala leads in the personal four-wheeler EV share with 18% of the EVs, which is almost double that of the Karnataka state as per the available statistics. Highest household charging box installations have been there in 2025, which were also supported and supplemented by the PM Saur Urja Muft Bijli Yojana scheme in the state of Kerala, where despite being a small state, we still rank 4th on the national scene. All the brands, Tata, MG, Mahindra, have been there, and TVS and Bajaj have also contributed to a large number in two-wheelers. We have almost 2,870 numbers of charging stations already available in the state, out of which 2/3 are fast chargers, others are pole charging stations, and our network is quite robust and quite easily accessible, largely because Kerala is a urban state where there is hardly any rural and urban divide, and people are very conscious and they want to basically be more responsible citizens. 2 days ago, our Honorable Prime Minister had given us a call to use lesser of POL and economize. I think this is also an important time that we should focus more on EVs, and we should start using more of the solar power to charge, or rather to power all these fast charging infrastructures. Further, I would say that most chargers concentrated on our National Highway 66 and the urban centers which are there. Eastern Kerala has been little underserved, and there is a shortage of 120 kilowatts and 240 kilowatts high capacity chargers for the infrastructure of the trucks, which we hope to make good with the PM E-Drive scheme. And 63.12 crore rupees have been sanctioned by the union government under the MHI for 209 locations for 335 EV charging stations. Our Kerala State Electricity Board Limited is the nodal agency for its implementation, and we really hope that it will create high capacity hubs, unlocking potential for the e-trucks and e-bus adoption. I was quite surprised and amazed listening to Mr. Kashara's presentation, where he said that up to 80% of the charge, from 20 to 80% charge can be done within 20 minutes. Now, this is the kind of innovation that we really are looking for. Unless the charging is done very swiftly, quickly, there will be a dampener. The people who are even desirous of taking electric vehicles will find that charging is quite a challenge. And in this particular conference, I am very hopeful that we will be listening to a lot of good work which has been done in the private sector as well as even in the government agencies, including the NPCI, whatever payments and other apps, etc., are being developed. These things are going to help us. In Kerala, our KSRTC, Road Transport Corporation, SWIFT, already has 165 e-buses with more chargers coming in at the depots and the stations. This will further accelerate more conversion, and we will be able to handle this chicken egg syndrome of higher EV penetration vis-a-vis fast charging infrastructure availability. With these few words, I would like to invite my colleague and the chairman and managing director of Kerala State Electricity Board for a detailed presentation on the journey of EVs, which he is going to spell out. I would also like to announce that within a fortnight, we are going to be one of the first states to award this tender under the PM E-Drive scheme, under which we have got 63.12 crores from the Government of India. Thank you very much.
We now have a presentation by Shri Minhaj Alam, CMD, KSEB, Kerala.
Honorable Union Minister for Heavy Industry and Steel, Shri H.D. Kumar Swamy sir, ACS Power of Kerala, Karnataka and Telangana, Additional Secretary MHI, Government of India, Dr. Hanif Qureshi, all senior level officers of heavy industries, Ministry of Heavy Industries, BHEL, IFCI, all distinguished dignitaries from private sector. First of all, I would like to thank Ministry of Heavy Industries for giving us opportunity to come and present Parts of the state, we wrote to concerned departments, the PSUs, to identify and provide us details of the land parcel which can be used under PM E-Drive. So we got good support from all the departments, and after getting the list, we did the feasibility assessment. We have PM this EV accelerator cell at KCBL which did this assessment, and then we submitted the proposal to Government of India. I think BHEL provided all necessary help and assistance to us for necessary submission. So after this submission, this was done in October 2025, then these proposals were again returned by MHI for resubmission with feasibility assessment report, and then again we submitted these details in January 2026. Then BHEL team visited Kerala. BHEL team visited all the locations physically. They stayed for a week and they could visit all the locations. Out of 277 locations submitted, sanction for 209 locations were received with a grant of ₹63.12 crores. It was received on 31st March 2026. This was under category A and B category is there. So as a strategy for assessment, we did district-wide assessment of existing charging network, and we found a lot of shortfall areas where we require more charging stations, and also the areas where there is interstate, inter-district mobility corridors where there is high footfall for positioning charging infrastructure. Then also we had to adopt the suitable charging configuration based on location, because some locations require higher capacity. So on that basis, we did strategize our proposal. So we got sanction on 31st March 2026 for 209 locations, 335 charges, out of which 21 was in category A and 188 was in category B. So total load would be 46.32 megawatt. So the different holding organizations, they supported us. Maximum land parcel was given by BSNL. Then KSEB have our own land. Then we have other PSUs of a state who have provided land, and they will be getting benefits out of this because these lands are not being used by them. So it will be good income for all these PSUs. Now the implementation mode which we are going to have, so there are two more modes suggested by Ministry of Heavy Industries, nodal agency mode and CPO mode, but we would like to do under CPO mode where we select CPOs through transparent bidding, and they will be responsible for all procurement, installation and operations. So the benefits of CPO mode is that KSE will not have to put any investment, and CPOs will bring their own expertise. They are already operating a lot of charging point stations, and KSEBL will monitor, and then after getting subsidy we will pass on to them. Then KSEBL also will be ensuring that this proper maintenance and uptime which is required for this purpose, that this is maintained by the charging point operators. So there is three-way implementation relationship. KSCBL is the asset owner agency. We will select CPOs, and the land awarding agency, which are the PSUs and other department of the state. So KSCBL we will going to tender this to select CPOs soon, this month itself, and after CPOs they build and operate, the land owning agency will receive the commercial return. This agency will get a good share of the revenue. So that's the advantage for these PSUs who have provided land for this purpose. So KSCEBL will be monitoring and will be ensuring that the investment by CPOs is done, and there is good maintenance by CPOs for all these charging point stations. Now we are going to have bidding. I think we have put a floor value of minimum 10% revenue to be shared by CPOs to the land owning agency, the PSUs. So revenue sharing will be a minimum of 10%. One example is that 18% of revenue share may be there to land owning agency. We also fixed that minimum 10,000 rupees per month is to be paid in any case by CPOs to the land owning PSUs. So each we will doing tendering for each location separately, so that each location there will be a CPO will be selected. And this bidding we will do through auction soon this month itself. So these are the stakeholders, the different stakeholders. We have stakeholders are KCBL with charging point operators, then land owning PSUs and consumers. Finally, consumers have to get benefit. And already for this charging point stations, Kerala State Electricity Regulatory Commission, they have fixed the rates which has to be paid. That upper rate at solar hours, non-solar hours. We want that maximum charging should be done during solar hours, because Kerala we already surplus solar energy, particularly under PM Surya Ghar. We have got a very good number of more than 2 lakh sanctions so far, and we are getting surplus energy during daytime. So it's better that this all charging is done during solar hour itself. So this is sample diagram which we want to have. That standard that we have given that requirement of the land area required for this purpose, and as per that these locations will be developed by the charging point operators. So this is our time frame. We want to finish this commissioning of this first phase category A and B by February 2027. We had a stakeholder meeting done with all the concerned agencies, and all were happy that this will be coming to, this has been sanctioned by Government of India. All the stakeholders have been taken into confidence for implementing of this PM E-Drive scheme. So then regarding next category C locations, we also got, initially we did this EUI, and we put only restriction to only existing charging point operator, but then there are a lot of requests were there that we need to give to new people also opportunity. So we gave further time to them. So far we have received 268 proposals. Now we want to submit this this month itself to Ministry of Heavy Industries, so that then inspections can be done and sanctions can be provided to us at the earliest. We also developed a web portal for category C locations for PM E-Drive, so that interested entrepreneurs can apply under this category C locations, and we are downloading documents and uploading documents to the MHI portal. And there are also more demands are coming from category A and B also. As of now, a lot of other departments also have written, so we will also be processing that also as and when this details are received from all the departments. So this is our roadmap. We hope to implement it in time-bound manner, and I am thankful to support provided by Ministry of Heavy Industries, particularly Dr. Hanif Qureshi and his team, for all this implementation of this scheme. I hope this scheme will be a big success in the state of Kerala. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for sharing what Kerala brings onto the table. I would now like to request Sri Gaurav Gupta, ACS Energy Karnataka, for his presentation.
Respected Sir, Union Minister Sir, my colleagues from different states, the Additional Secretary in the Heavy Industries Ministry, and dear colleagues, representatives of the industry, and all dear friends. So it's a splendid opportunity for us, and I must compliment Government of India for hosting this very important national conference on EV charging infrastructure, which is very timely, as we know and has been talked about, that considering the geopolitical issues which are afflicting the entire world, we need to conserve our resources and also ensure more and more vehicles run on electricity, because as you know very well, electricity in India is primarily based on coal and not based on petroleum and other related byproducts. So with this, I would just be mentioning about BESCOM. BESCOM is the Bangalore Electricity Supply Company. It has almost half of the consumers in the state come within the fold of BESCOM, that is Bangalore City and 8 other districts. And it has been identified as a state nodal agency for the EV public charging stations. And they are the ones who are floating tenders, but also they are taking up the work as charge point operators also at number of locations. So let me start with the electric mobility landscape in Karnataka. Karnataka has been a pioneer in e-mobility, and I was talking to Union Minister, and he recalls that in 2018, when Sir was the Chief Minister, at that point of time, we had the first of the chargers, public chargers in 2018 installed in Vidhan Soda. And the state had the first of the EV policy and 2018, and subsequently the next edition is the Clean Mobility Policy in 2025, and we boast of the highest number of charging stations in the country, numbering 8,600. So the EV sales, if we talk about the EV sales, as you can see in the graph, EV sales has grown by almost 17 times in last 5 years, with a cumulative average growth rate of 76%. The last fiscal saw more than 2.2 lakh vehicles sold in the state, with the EV penetration reaching almost 11%, which means that out of 100 vehicles sold in the state, 11 are electric vehicles. We expect this trend to further continue and consolidate. The fiscal of FY27, that is the present financial year, started with a strong note in April, with the EV penetration reaching up to 13.65%. And from all these numbers, we can safely assume that the consumers have started to shift notably towards electric vehicles as sustainable options, given the favorable total cost of ownership associated with electric vehicles, as well as to insulate themselves from the future price shocks of petroleum products. So as I said, BESCOM has been identified as the nodal agency for EV charging infrastructure. It also functions as charge point operators. It was the first utility in the country to establish a DC charging station, as I mentioned, in 2018, emphasizing the vision of the state towards sustainable development. This electric vehicles has always been a focus of Karnataka for last so many years. We have established more than 200 plus charging stations in its jurisdiction. These are run by BESCOM itself, and they offer EV charging at less than 8 rupees per unit at the consumer point, which can be seamlessly accessed through the EV Mitra app. So there is an app-based kind of solution that is provided. In 2025, now this is the profile of what we have been doing over the years. The EV charging station, the PPP model, AC chargers at various BESCOM offices, launch of EV Abhiyan and EV Expo to increase awareness among people, and also the EV Mitra 1 app with the enhanced features, and 140 chargers at various things. So this is what we have been doing. And in the next slide, we talk about in 2025, last year, we had the first of its kind solar PV and second life battery-backed EV charging station, which was operationalized by BESCOM near the Bangalore International Airport. This is powered by a rooftop solar system backed by batteries, second life batteries of 100 kilowatt hour, and serves as a proof of concept for a sustainable EV charging stations. We would like it to be solar plus batteries should be able to charge the EV batteries without any major dependence on the electric grid network itself. So that is what was inaugurated by Energy Minister Shri K.J. George and a number of other dignitaries. And this basically is just a model, and we would like to take it forward. Now, BESCOM supports the charge point operators in developing EV charging infrastructure across the state as state nodal agency, and the Karnataka offers EV tariff. Now, EV tariff for electric vehicles has been a subsidized rate of ₹4.50 per unit across the state to promote e-mobility. BESCOM has also initiated a PPP-based revenue sharing model for battery swapping stations at BESCOM-owned land at 20 locations. BESCOM has also been supporting the oil marketing companies in resolving the power supply issues across Karnataka. Now, this is, I think, a very major step, because when they came in, the oil marketing companies, they were finding it a lot of issues, including whether they have to install a transformer at the spot, how much load they can have, and all that. And all those issues, by a regular interaction, we were able to take it up. The last 2 points are also very critical. BESCOM has developed a land aggregator portal to simplify the land identification. We have identified these are the locations at which we require more charging points, and the lands which are available there, and this can be accessed by the private people, and they can identify locations in which they can choose to invest and then to take it forward. Now, the sixth one is single window dashboard to fast track the power supply sanctions. Now, power supply sanctions is a critical part, and obviously there has been a lot of feedback over the years. We have conducted several interactive meets with the industry to take this forward. Now, this is talking about the consumer awareness initiatives which have been taken up. The EV Mela was the recent one, in which more than 15 plus OEMs showcased their vehicles, and the event witnessed footfalls of more than 5,000 people. We also have taken up other activities which have been listed on this slide. And coming to the execution and the deployment strategy, under PM E-Drive, BESCOM has been identified. Now, this is some of the awards which have been won by BESCOM related to EV charging stations. Self-evident, I would not like to say. Next one. The execution strategy for deployment under the EV charging stations. BESCOM has been identified as state nodal agency, as I mentioned, and we will take it up in 2 phases. The first phase will be category A and category B stations, which is government-owned and government undertakings-owned locations, for which BESCOM has submitted a proposal of 1,250 charging stations at a proposed expenditure of 777 crores. I am told that the MHI subsidy will be of the order of rupees 352 crores, and the balance will have to be funded by ESCOMs themselves. The capital expenditure will be funded by us. And in the phase 2, we have taken it up for category C and D, which is private CPOs, for the establishment of more than 800 charging stations. One of the issues which we have found is that the private initiatives are coming only in high visibility areas, and a number of other areas in the state are not being taken up despite several rounds of bidding. So this is an issue on which I think the entire industry has to come together to see that the charging infrastructure is not concentrated just on the major cities, and also gets well spread across the country. Now, battery swapping stations under category D will be taken up after stakeholder consultation. Now, the implementation approach has been that we have identified state government offices, universities, hospital bus depots, etc. through research, and the coordinates have been detailed. The long let, etc. is available, and they have been shared across all the stakeholders. The feasibility studies have been conducted digitally across 5 ESCOMs. We have 5 distribution companies. We call them ESCOMs. So the district officers, one of the advantages in having electric utility as a state nodal agency is that they have very significant ground level presence. So at the ground level, any small place also, we have people who are available. And the proposal has been submitted, and joint survey has been taken up with BHEL, and we want to take it forward. Now, for the phase 2, we are going to take it up further in the month of June. And I would like to conclude that Karnataka has very strong commitment towards accelerating the e-mobility adoption and building a very robust and accessible and user-friendly EV charging system for the future. We remain committed to the PM e-drive scheme in the state by expanding the the charging infrastructure and enabling greater EV adoption across the state, and also fostering relationship with all the stakeholders, industry, and all other stakeholders to build a sustainable future. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for giving us an overview of what Karnataka is contributing. I would now like to request Deepti Ranjan Patra, Additional Transport Commissioner, Odisha, for his presentation.
Jai Jagannath to everybody. Myself Deepti Ranjan Patra, Additional Commissioner Transport, representing on behalf of my state. Respected Honorable Union Minister of Heavy Industries, respected senior officers from Ministry of Heavy Industries, distinguished representatives of HEL, IFCI and NBSL, DISCOMs. So, at the outset, I convey my sincere gratitude to the Ministry of Heavy Industries for organizing this important conference on enabling the nationwide EV charging infrastructure under PM e-drive. I also thank Ministry for giving Odisha an opportunity to share its experience, its learning and execution strategy. So, a small presentation. I'll start next slide, please. So, Odisha has implemented Odisha EV policy in the year 2021, and in the year 2024, Odisha Transport Department has taken initiative for setting up 100 charging stations under public-private partnership mode, where the state government is providing the land, the CPO is setting up the charging stations, and it has been set up through tendering process, and letter of award has been issued in 22nd November 2024, and from 3rd May 2025, agreement and work order has been executed. And on 26 September, the PM e-drive guidelines have been issued. Could you please go to next slide? So this is the EV adoption in the year 2021-22. It was the penetration was only 1.97%, but due to strong, robust EV policy adopted by the state government in 2021. By the end of March 2026, the penetration has been shot up to 8.83%, and as of now 2.4 lakhs EV vehicle have been registered by the state. So now the state has already notified the draft EV policy 2025, and where target has been kept for 50% EV or alternative fuel registration by 2030, and this is in line with the Odisha Vision 2036 and 2047. Next slide, please. So this is the charging scenario. As of now, 534 private charging stations are set up in Odisha. So by the initiative of the state government, the 100 out of 100 charging stations, 17 locations have already been operationalized, and at another having 75 charging points, location 17, charging point 75 plus, and as of now, through these 17 charging stations, more than 10,000 chargings have been completed. So another 48 sites under execution, and 70 sites has survey for next 70 sites under the state government initiative has already been completed. Next, please. So this is the total journey for setting up EV charging station by state's own initiative. So total in the tendering process, the service charge discovered at 4.5 rupees per kilowatt for slow charger and 5.50 paise for fast charger. So in total, as we compare with the private charging station vis-a-vis the charging station set up by the transport department under PPP mode, the cost variation is around 10 rupees. The private charging stations are charging around 19-20 rupees, whereas this charging station set up by the state government is costing around 11 to 12 rupees. Next, please. So the success story 2 is built-in accountability public access. When we have proposed this proposal to government of India, so we have verified what are the places where public have an access and digital payments. So 90% monthly, there is a condition in the contract that the charging station set up by this state initiative has a service level compliances, that 90% uptime should be maintained, and quick repair, timelines, operationalization within, from the date of issuance of work order, the site should be operationalized within 180 days, and SL reports, inspection, centralized dashboard, everything has been complied with the contract agreement. Next, please. So under this PME drive, there is 2,000 crore has been allocated for setting of charging stations. So this has been categorized A, B, C, D. Next, please. So Odisha has initially proposed for 1,228 locations in November and December 2025. Again, that proposal has been reverted back to state for some certain rectification and modification. So accordingly, in 30th June 30th January 2026, again we have submitted for 523 locations, costing 173 crores, and again that has been reverted to state, and we have finally submitted for 190 locations, costing 73.61 crore. The site survey has already been completed in the last month itself, and where we have proposed for 52 locations under category A, 95 locations under category B, 39 locations under category C, and battery swapping station 4. Next, please. So while proposing this new proposal, we have verified, we have taken the data of Vahan registration data and what are the sites where the EV penetration is more and uses of EV is more, and discom feasibility where we can get the connectivity, where the underground connectivity is possible, where the overhead connectivity is possible, and On receipt of the approval, we will be moving towards tendering process for selecting a CPU. So again, it would be a public-private partnership mode to be adopted by the state government, and where obviously the service level monitoring would be included. Next, please. So network design, we have considered Bhubaneswar, Baleshwar, Cuttack, Puri, Jajpur, Kalinganagar, Angul. So here we have considered the NCAP cities and pilgrim cities like Puri. So total for these cities we have submitted our initial proposal, and we will be submitting the phase 2 proposal. Next, please. So this is the way forward. So now approval, we are waiting for the approval. Once we receive the approval, we will be taking forward for the step 2, 3, 4 and 5. So that's all from Odisha. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir. That brings us to the end of the success stories segment. I'd now like to request Dr. Hanif Qureshi, Additional Secretary, MHI, to present a token of appreciation to all the speakers. I request the speakers to kindly come onto the dais. Shri Naveen Mittal from Telangana State, Shri Puneet Kumar sir, Shri Minhaj Alam sir from Kerala, Shri Gaurav Gupta sir from Karnataka, and Shri Deepti Ranjan Patra sir from Odisha. Karnataka from the Kaveri Emporium is being presented to all the speakers. Thank you. Request all of you to kindly stand for a group photograph. Thank you, speakers. Moving on, we have the panel discussion, Experiences Sharing by OMCs. For this session, I'd like to call upon our moderator and the speakers. We'll give a minute for the stage to get ready. सिर्फ चेंज चाहिए बस चेंज भैया सिर्फ 6 चेयर्स चाहिए 6 Our next session is on experience sharing by OMCs. For this session, I'd like to call on the moderator, Shri Akhil Jaiprakash, CEO of Pulse Energies. We also have Shri Pradeep Goyal, ED BPCL, Shri Atanu Mandal, ED IOCL, Shri Debashish, ED HPCL, Shri Rajiv Mittal, Director of MG JSW, Shri Omkar Shaligram, GM Tata Motors. With a big round of applause, can we have the panelists on the dais? And the audience, can we have a big round of applause and a smile for the most important session of today's conference. Over to the moderator.
Hello. 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 Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you to the Honorable Union Minister Kumaraswamy sir, Dr. Hanif Qureshi ji, BHL leadership and NBSL leadership for having this national conference. My name is Akhil Jaiprakash. I'm a founder at Pulse Energy. We built like a software infrastructure for charging operators. So if any of the CPOs would want to connect to the UVC network that is there, I'm the person. But this is a really great panel. We are at a defining moment of India's EV story. PM eDrive is putting real capital behind public charging. UBC being unveiled by Lalita ma'am in the morning is effectively India's UPI for EV charging movement. So on this panel we have 3 OMCs whose retail networks form India's backbone for EV charging, and 2 of India's most ambitious EV OEMs whose vehicles are creating that demand. Together, they represent India's EV transition coming to life. Let's begin with the OMCs who have done the genuine heavy lifting in deploying EV charging infra. We're going to keep it one question and then keep it going. If time permits, we'll do a follow-up for everyone. Okay. All right, so Pradeep sir, over to you. The first question. So BPCL has been building one of the most pioneering EV charging networks in the country. There's about 10,000 charging points, 120 highway, with a clear roadmap now going towards 400 corridors. Could you share with us at least what BPCL has learned from this national build-out, and what excites you about the next phase of PM eDrive?
Good morning, everyone. Special thanks to Ministry of Heavy Industries and Honorable Minister Sir, Hanif Qureshi Sir, and the entire team present here, all the delegates and senior bureaucrats from various states. Thank you so much for giving us this platform and giving us this opportunity of sharing our journey. BPCL today is the second largest oil marketing company in the country, owning about 25,000 fuel stations. Our journey in the space of EV started in the initial phase, starting from 2019, sir. So 2019 onwards, we have started setting up EV stations, and today we have almost close to 7,000 EV charging stations, having more than 12,000 charging points. The journey has been exciting, with a lot of challenges, a lot of issues, but with the support of all the stakeholders, we have come a long way. I am excited to share with you some figures of last 2 months. March and April, BPCL had more than 5 lakh charging sessions in our charging points. That's a milestone figure, which we had never even thought of when we started this journey of EVs. When we started our journey of EVs, we had huge challenges in terms of various compliances, guidelines, PESO rules, how do we position the substations, how do we get ST connections, and right from application stage to getting various charger approvals, standardization of chargers. So we have gone through all of that. Today, most of the issues are already over. and last 6-8 months have been really, I would say, encouraging. Ministry of Heavy Industries with Ministry of Power on literally weekly basis have been giving us support, and because of which FAME 2 chargers could be commissioned in a record last 6 months' time in thousands of number by all three of us put together. Great support came from Ministry of Power, and all the DISCOMs helped us achieve those numbers. BPCL started its journey with the purpose of providing highway corridors for the customers to address to their range anxiety. And we were the first one to provide first corridor, Chennai-Madurai, sometime 4 years back, the first highway corridor having EV stations. Our current motto is also to ensure that all highways will have at least one EV station every 100 kilometers on both sides, so that this range anxiety is addressed. More than about 400 highway corridors will be covered by this year end. All the major highways will be covered. BPCL also started the concept of providing energy stations, wherein motorists all energy needs apart from the fueling for their vehicle, also for their relaxation and recreation. All those facilities have also been started by BPCL. Now we are providing our own chain of B cafes, what we call it as a cafe stations. B cafes, we have set up more than 225 B cafes, one of the biggest now in the country, so that while charging is happening to the customer's vehicle, customer has a place to relax, to refresh, and with that purpose, we are now looking at as BPCL as one of the major players to provide energy stations across all highways and meeting the customer needs. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. 5 lakh sessions is a amazing milestone, so congrats for that. So moving to Atanu, sir. Sir, IOCL operates one of the largest fuel retail network in the country. There's about 42,000 outlets. Obviously makes you guys uniquely positioned to anchor India's EV charging build-out. What are the insights you've gained? What makes the site successful?
Good morning to respected Honorable Minister of Heavy Industries, Qureshi Sahab, all the delegates and dignitaries, and special thanks to BHEL for organizing this and Ministry of Heavy Industries for giving an opportunity to Indian Oil. Yeah, we are the biggest OMCs in the country, started way back in 1956. Our first retail outlet in Anjar of Gujarat. So today we are present right from Kutch to Silchar and Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Every place you go, you can see Indian Oil. So the opportunity for providing EVCs across the country is huge, and we definitely considering this current geopolitical situation, we also want to improve. So far we have around 14,300 electric charging stations. In addition to that, we are the only company in OMCs that we have started providing a large-scale battery swapping stations, specifically for 2-3-wheelers, and we have almost 1,450 odd swapping stations, and we are increasing at a very rapid speed in this, and we are getting very, very encouraging results. Our journey, in fact, as Mr. Goel has already shared, when we started, we had a lot of difficulties. Initially, we started with AC chargers. So a mandate came in November 2018, wherein the mandate was that every energy station that will be, or the retail outlet petrol pump will be commissioned, there has to be one alternate energy. So then CNG infrastructure was not possible to be feasible in all the areas. So we started looking at EVs. And that time we were getting in the country only those AC chargers which were actually very slow chargers. Then we moved to DC chargers, that is the fast chargers. Today we have out of 14,000 around 6,000 odd DC chargers across the country. We are also trying that there is a lot of dwell time that is required for charging the charging infrastructure. So whenever the customer comes, so that they can spend the time, specifically in the wayside amenities that we have developed in express highways. We are putting up lounges and other restaurants so that people can spend time by the time they can do the charging. The initial thing that we have we have been facing is basically in the power infrastructure, wherein it was taking a lot of time. But subsequently, with the intervention of Ministry of Power and Ministry of Heavy Industries, all those problems have gone and we could establish this. And some pain points initially was that some of the states were deploying even fixed charges in electricity. So that was again a contention for the dealers who had been operating, that despite not usage or since number of vehicles were led, they were forced to pay some fixed charges. But now most of the states are waiving that. So that's a very, very welcome move. And I hope that we have already, in collusion with the Ministry of Heavy Industries, have identified various highway corridors wherein gaps are there, as Mr. Goyal has shared, that every 100 kilometers there has to be some charging station. So under PM E-Drive, we are again going for this fast chargers of 240 kilowatt and above. So soon we'll be putting those chargers also. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, Athana, sir. Over to Devashish, sir, from HPCL. So you have taken a very distinctive platform-led approach with HP eCharge. You built very strong relationships with OEMs as well. Can you kind of walk us through your strategy in kind of making or accelerating EV charging deployment?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, very good afternoon to the Honorable Minister of MHI, the bureaucrats, the dignitaries seated in front of the dais, and the key people, the stakeholders of this EVCS system. A very good afternoon to you all. Well, I won't be repetitive, which my colleagues from the OMC have already spoken, but the fact remains that we as HPCL, we always vision to be an energy company. And one thing which I would definitely like to mention is that instead of looking from a top-down approach, we initially, right from the day one, we had a bottoms-up approach as if how the customer will be getting the experience. And we are very proud to say that we started quite early, way back in 2018-19, and this HP eCharge platform is something which we are very proud of. We not only onboarded the entire ecosystem, the OEMs, like two of my colleagues who are here, we have more than 1,500 chargers, and we have Mahindra, Hector, everybody with us. So we understood that this ecosystem cannot be built by a single OMCs. While we will be the partners to progress, but we will require this entire ecosystem to work together from a bottoms-up approach, that is the customer being the singularity, like he or she as to how they feel, what is going to be the difference, be it uptime, be it the maintenance part. So we worked on that, and today we are very proud to say that our partner Kazam and we have worked together, and today we are seeing the light of the day. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Over to the OEM side of the equation, right? So to Ravi Mittal, sir, from JSW MG. So, sir, MG obviously has kind of stood out as one of the rare OEMs that treat charging as a customer experience first problem with the eHub app and the Windsor free charging approach. What have you learned from this approach? What are the takeaways that people can take?
Thank you, Akhil. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, Mr. Qureshi, and all bureaucrats available over here. So I come from MG, and since beginning of our MG products, we were sensitive for electrical vehicle for this country. In year 2019, when we started our plant, we launched ZS EV, the first EV in this country on that segment. Our approach towards this EV infra is a bit different. The way we took it, the first motto what we as a company decided to provide affordable, spacious, reliable products to the customers in EV and new energy vehicles. Dear sir, 75% of sales of MG comes from new energy vehicle as well as electrical vehicles. And by this all initiatives which various states have taken, in the month of April, the EV penetration have increased in our country, which is more than 23,000 cars were sold in passenger vehicle category, which were electrical vehicles. The approach, Akhil, what we took, we decided to bring good products as well as the scheme like free charging. So we understood that our job is to create products, to make cars, to produce good quality cars. But the job of charging point operators to install and the government agencies to help and build the infrastructure. And the problem of today that we have chargers, but they are not utilized to the ability what they should be. And that is where the partners feel anxiety and lowness to put more and more charging stations. So when we offer our product, we brought free charging schemes, wherein we said to our customers that charging we will sponsor. Even the batteries what we give in our cars, they are lifetime warranty. So whatever cars we offer to our consumers, the batteries are lifetime. So in a way what we are doing, we are trying to take out anxiety out of the common person. Because as our nation, as a countryman, we are sensitive towards anxiety. None of us want to have an anxiousness, because that is not good for us. So that is the reason we use eHub by MG, wherein like today BHEL and all the agencies, we are putting up a unified app which is being launched and which is being the anvil of launch. But in the beginning, around 3 years ago, we have eHub by MG, wherein more than 30,000 chargers are there on our app, and the consumer can go on a journey where we can use our car data as well to provide you the various insight, the trip planner, the SOC level we can get from our cars. So that is a way what MG thought to contribute to build this nation and to build this infra which will give us higher penetration of EVs.
Thank you so much, Ravi sir. I think that's very helpful, and that kind of gets a good dovetail into what Omkar is at Tata Motors. So Omkar, Tata Motors has the broadest EV portfolio in the market, arguably the most integrated ecosystem, Tata Power, Tata Motors, Tata EV business. From the OEM seat, what are we missing in this ecosystem?
Yeah, thanks, Akhil. And thank you, MHI, Honorable Minister, Dr. Qureshi, all the dignitaries. Thank you for giving us this opportunity. I've been fortunate to be part of this EV journey since 2019. I've seen the first charger getting installed for Tata Motors, and I've seen that grow to what we are today, 30,000 plus chargers. And I remember few customer stories. I'll just do a quick one. Somebody who was in Bangalore traveling to Chennai, we had practical range of car 200, 250 kilometers at that time, and people would say it's a 350 kilometer distance, I can't travel, I need a charging station in between. So we installed a couple of charging stations near Vellore, near Krishnagiri, and then people said, fine, these chargers are there, but I need charger at the left hand side, I need charger on the right hand side, I need charger at the food stop that I stop at. So what we realize in all of this is you can't create an ecosystem by defining your constraints. You have to go to customers and understand what does the customer want. Where does the customer stop? So what we did in 2023 is we started open collaboration. We had a lot of connected car data from our customers. We shared it with all OMCs, all CPOs, saying that this is where our customers want chargers, and that is where the real gaps of the EV charging network started filling up. And when I was looking at the latest numbers, almost 92% of India's national highways have an EV charger, and I'm sure OMCs have a biggest contribution to that. Now the questions are not around availability of chargers. There are ample of chargers. Now the questions are around reliability of chargers. Will the chargers work when I reach there? It might be showing available today, but when I'm going there, would it work? And this is one aspect. I'm sure as the industry matures, this will get solved with PME drive coming in, all the uptime metrics that we have put in. I'm sure it will evolve and mature. One more aspect, sir, and all the dignitaries here I would like to present is when we think about EV charging, we always think about public charging. But our data today shows, and all the OEMs here will agree, that 90% of charging still happens at home. We are all focusing on public charging, and that will get solved. All the efforts together, we will solve it. But that 90% charging problem, which is happening at home, is now growing, and growing in a sense that it is not a technical problem. It is more of a social problem. It is more of a mindset problem that the RWAs or communities where people are living in, because in cities like Bangalore, Mumbai, Delhi, where the highest EV penetration is, 60-70% of the people stay in apartments, and they do not get permissions to install chargers. There was an incident in Gurgaon, couple of weeks back, where apartment owners were asked to remove chargers from their, parkings. So all of these things are going to create more and more hurdles for mainstreaming of EV usage. And for that, what we have been also working with, all the industry colleagues, is there should be a right to charge. Like you have right to electricity, right to food, there has to be a right to charge, so that when I am buying an EV, I don't have that anxiety that will I be able to install my charger or not, because that is where 90% of my charging is going to happen. And we have also published a white paper through CM on this. So this is something which will unlock the future. If you want to really have that 30% penetration number in India, we have to solve for public charging as well as home charging.
That's amazing feedback, Omkar. I think that'll be the next frontier, what all of us will be working on. So what I'm hearing from this panel is a remarkable convergence. OMCs like Omkar and Ravi sir delivering nationwide deployment at unmatched scale. OEMs delivering product and customer experiences that drive adoption. And the policy framework from the PME drive plus today's UBC network from NBSL. India's EV story is genuinely getting built end to end, and this panel right here reflects that leadership in making it happen. So thank you so much for everyone kind of listening to us and hearing our feedback. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists. I request you to kindly stay on the dais. I'd like to request Shri Chandrasekhar, COO of ICAT, to present a token of appreciation to the panelists and the moderator. Request you all to stand for a group picture. Thank you. The question that bogs all of us is, what is the future or what is the roadmap for charging infrastructure in India? To answer this, we have Dr. Hanif Qureshi, Additional Secretary, Minister of Heavy Industries, before us. I request Dr. Hanif for his presentation.
Is it not working? Then the next wall. Chief guest of today's National Conference on Enabling Nationwide EV Charging Infrastructure under the PM E-Drive scheme, Union Minister for Heavy Industries and Steel, Honorable Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy sir, respected Shri Gaurav Gupta, Additional Chief Secretary Energy, Karnataka, respected Shri Naveen Mittal, Special Chief Secretary Energy, Telangana, respected Shri Puneet Kumar, Additional Chief Secretary from Kerala, respected Shri Minhaj Alam, CMD of BESCOM, my colleagues from the Ministry of Heavy Industries, my colleagues from BHEL, the test agencies, ICAT, NATRAX, and my MD and CEO of NBSL, Ms. Lalita Natarajan, the CPOs present here, the OEMs, the oil and marketing companies. I express my gratitude to you on the behalf of Ministry of Heavy Industries to come here today and share your valuable experience. We have all heard about the charging infrastructure and the experience what the different stakeholders have had. But I just wanted to give you an overview of what the Ministry of Heavy Industries does. So the Ministry of Heavy Industries deals with the heavy electrical equipment, with machine tool sector and the automobile sector. The ministry also has 16 public sector units which are operational, including BHEL, Andrew and Yule Company, HMT, Hindustan Salts Limited, Cement Corporation of India, and others are there. In the automobile sector, you know, the ministry is the regulator for the automobile sector, and this sector is about $240 billion in size today, and that represents about 7.1% of the country's GDP. About 49% of the manufacturing in the country comes from the automobile sector. And since it provides employment to about 4.4 crore people, that is why you can understand the importance that the Government of India gives to this sector. I was talking to Naveen Mittal sir about the stage where India is in electric vehicle journey. So let me share some data about it. The highest number of electric vehicles are sold, of course, in China. More than 40% vehicles sold are electric there. Then in Europe, we have about 24% of the EVs sold in Europe are electric. In US, it is about 8 to 9%. And that also it is heavily concentrated in California, where the percentage is about 20-25. And in the Midwest and the other regions, it is much lower. In India, last year we produced about 52 lakh cars, which were sold in the country. Out of 52 lakhs, 4.1% were electric cars. So we are not at the level where these countries are, but we are very close behind. If we look at the number of vehicles sold worldwide, then we see that 18% vehicles sold are electric. Of course, driven by China. If we remove that, we'll come down to about 10 or 12%. In two-wheelers, we sold more than 2 crore two-wheelers last year, out of which about 7% were electric. Our journey has been very successful in three-wheelers, where about 35% of the new sales of electric three-wheelers were electric. In buses also, we are at about 6%, largely driven by government procurement. So we had about 10,000 electric buses which are supported by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, PME Bus Seva scheme. And we have 14,000 buses under the PME Drive scheme, of which EV charging infrastructure is also a part. 2,000 crores is for EV charging infrastructure and 4,391 crores (1 to 2 years). As our Honorable Prime Minister has said that the net zero goal of 2070 and the push towards cleaner technologies. So under the leadership of Honorable Union Minister, the ministry is running several schemes to promote the electric vehicles in the country. One of those is the Production Linked Incentive Scheme for Automobiles, PLI Auto. That scheme is worth 26,000 crore rupees. Incentives are given to the manufacturers who manufacture electric vehicles, their components, and components of hydrogen vehicles are also included. Components of advanced automotive technologies like ADAS, like hydrogen fuel cell, all those are also included in this scheme. There are more than about 20 or 22 OEMs and component manufacturers who are registered under the scheme. Then there is the Production Linked Incentive Scheme for Advanced Chemistry Cells, PLI ACC, which is a 18,100 crore rupee scheme. As you know that the batteries are about 40 to 45% of an electrical vehicle's cost. A lot of the cost comes from batteries. Till now, most of these cells are imported from abroad. But under the PLI ACC scheme, already more than about 2.5 gigawatts of capacity has been established in the country. And we expect that PLI ACC is for 50 gigawatts. So this 50 should come up in the next couple of years. But there is also an ecosystem effect, where private sector is also establishing these advanced chemistry cells. And more than 100 gigawatt of manufacturing capacity of ACC should be coming up by 29-30. Then our Honorable Prime Minister had another challenge in his mind about the financing of electric buses, because the STUs have to pay for the electric buses. And given the health of some of our state STUs, a payment security mechanism was formulated. And that scheme is also being run by the Ministry of Heavy Industry, which provides a security against continued payment for 10 years. So now the model is that states do not give outright purchases of the electric buses. Buses are taken for 10 to 12 years of bus as a service. So operation, maintenance, all that also is included. So the PSM scheme solves the challenge of payment security. That scheme is also running in the ministry. The current scheme which we are talking about is the PM E-Drive scheme, which has a budget of 10,900 crores, out of which 2,000 crores are reserved for the charging infrastructure. Now, if we talk about the current state of charging infrastructure in the country, I'll just present it in the presentation. We have more than 67,000 chargers in India, and more than 25,000 chargers are fast chargers. So as rightly pointed out by one of the speakers before me, that most of the charging happens at home, 80 to 90% depending upon two-wheelers or three-wheelers, and a lot of charging happens in office complexes also, which is an overnight charging through slow charging. So while formulating the PM E-Drive scheme, we calculated that how many chargers would be required by 2030. And for that we needed the number of electric vehicles which will be there in 2030. So that was projected, and the battery capacities of each vehicle type were projected. So two-wheelers are like 2 kilowatt to 4 kilowatt, some are 5 kilowatts. Cars started with 30 kilowatt, but now most cars are 50 or 60 kilowatts, even 70 or 80 kilowatts. And buses and trucks, 240 to 360 kilowatts, it varies. So using those numbers, we found that about 72,000 chargers would be required by 2030. That would be the number of public chargers which would be required. And out of that, about 1,800 would be required for buses and trucks, and 22,000 would be required for cars, and the remaining about 44,000 for two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So that is how the number of chargers and the cost of that was calculated. And after these, just one more point before I tell you something about the chargers, that when we looked at one of the advantages, why we go for electric vehicles, that is the question. Why at all go for EVs? So one of the reasons is that environment, they are cleaner fuels, of course we know it. And the second is that the saving of the fuel which we import. More than 60% of the crude goes to diesel, and our buses and trucks, they are the biggest consumers of diesel. So trucks constitute only 3% of the vehicles in the country, but they consume 42% of the diesel. So in one of the discussions, our Union Minister, Honorable Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy told us that electric buses and electric trucks are the main segments which will cause a reduction in the environmental pollution effects and also reduction in the fuel. But what is the problem with that? Two problems. One problem is the charging infrastructure. So we included 240 to 360 kilowatt charging stations also. And we interacted with the Office of the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister. So PSA did a survey and came out with 24 high density corridors in the country. So this list of 24 high density corridors where the freight moves, where the truck moves, we have taken them as a priority corridors. And similarly, we found out 50 high density corridors for buses. Those are the areas where we want to concentrate on the chargers for buses. And incidentally, chargers of buses and trucks are the same, 242, 360 kilowatts. Some of them are common, but most of them are separate. And there, the Honorable Minister said that one is the problem of charging, which we will solve by PME drive scheme. But the second is about financing. The banks are not willing to lend to, because most of these operators are small operators who have less than 5 trucks or 10 buses. So now we are working on a scheme which will improve financing for this sector, for buses and trucks. So currently the banks are not willing to lend to these people. They lend at 2 to 3% or maybe sometimes 4% higher than the market rates. NBFCs of course charge very high. And the other is that since the risk perception is very high, a lot of banks don't lend to them at all. So one solution would be interest subvention and the other would be a partial credit guarantee. So once the subvention is given, some of the risk is taken by a DFI, say SIDBI or NABARD or any FI, then we think that financing will become easier and a lot of public sector capital can flow into the sector. So I have apprised you of the larger ecosystem that the Ministry of Heavy Industry is creating so that electric vehicles penetration can go up. And the last point before I go to the presentation is that it is not only that we want that number of electric vehicles should go up, that you can do by import also. But the point is that these vehicles must be made indigenously. There must be a push to the local industry. And that is why you will see that under, for example, PLI Auto, there is a requirement of 50% domestic value addition. So you have to source 50% of your components from within the country. Similarly, in the charging infrastructure, you cannot simply import a charger from abroad and put the charger. You cannot do that. There is a phased manufacturing program where you have to source the components of the charger from Indian manufacturers. And that program has been made in consultation with the industry and our testing agencies. Director ICAT, Mr. Saurabh Dalila is sitting with us. They have worked out, we don't want to make PMP so difficult that it will not be possible to manufacture in India. But it should not be so easy that it is just imported from there. So that right spot has to be found, which is a good job done by our testing agencies. And whenever charging infrastructure is installed and subsidies are sought by the charge point operators or the states, then this PMP has to be kept in mind. So let me briefly go over some of these points here. Yeah, so as I mentioned that we have about 67,000 chargers in the country now, of which 25,000 are fast chargers. And in cities we have 15,000 chargers. Highways we have 6,000 chargers. Another question which we are asked is that some people say, oh, we don't have any charging infrastructure or we have very less charging infrastructure. So dear friends, that is not the case. As very rightly said by one of my colleagues here, that now the question is not of availability of chargers. It is whether it is working, there is no error in it, whether the app through which we are using it is reliable, whether payment is going through, refund is coming or not. So those are the issues we have to tackle. So the OMCs are leading in the number of fast chargers. Plus we have a large number of other CPOs also. If you look at the number of charges across states, you will find that Maharashtra and Karnataka are leading with the largest number of charges. These are only fast charges. Of course, we'll have a lot more number of slow charges. So, as I told you that the 50 high-density corridors, they were selected based on the traffic data which we got from the Vahan portal, from the toll data. From there we calculated it. So the norms of saturation are what? That for a four-wheeler, there must be a charger every 20 kilometers. That is the norm which Ministry of Power has said. And for buses, one charger every 100 kilometers. That is the norm. Of course, you can have more than it. Zyada banane mein there's no problem. But this is generally what Ministry of Power says. Of course, it depends on states. That is why we have not asked the states to restrict their number of charges to any particular number. Because we believe that the states know where and how much and what quality of charges are required. So these are the 50 high-density corridors for cars. Now why they are colored in green? They are colored in green because all of them have at least one charger every 20 kilometers. You travel on these highways and you'll find a charger in less than 20 kilometers. That's the situation today. Now, if you look at the bus chargers, so Delhi to Chandigarh and Delhi to Amritsar, these are already saturated. They are in dark green, which means there is a charger less than 100 kilometers for buses there. And the lighter green shows that the number of chargers which have been sanctioned in the PMI drive scheme, once they are installed, they will also become saturated. So we would have covered all these highways. Now we look at a particular highway from Bengaluru to Chennai. This highway is 347 kilometers and there are 109 fast EV chargers on this highway. So the density is 6.3 kilometers, you'll find a charger on each side. So you travel one side, every 6 kilometers there is a charger. You come back, then there is another charger every 6 kilometers. So this is a saturated highway. So major CPOs are mentioned here. So this tool, I must commend BHEL, Mr. Sutripto De, the GM of BHEL with us. They have developed this portal. You can log on to the portal, look at any highway in the country and see what chargers are available there, who has put those chargers, name of the company, what is the wattage, how many kilowatts, everything is given in that portal. All chargers, 67,000, have been mapped by BHEL. So in cities, we have looked at the top 30 cities by EV car stock. How many chargers would be required by 2028? There are 6,400 existing chargers. And under the PM E-Drive, 1580 chargers have been sanctioned. So we require 8,000 more chargers to go to the MOP level of saturation in these cities. So for example, these 500 plus chargers, so many cities are there, then 200 to 500, 100 to 200. That way we have mapped every city that how many chargers it needs. Of course, these are the chargers which have been sanctioned under FAME 2. And as my colleagues from OMCs were mentioning, that one problem is that, of course, installation is in the hands of the OMCs, but the energization of the chargers is where the OMCs have to interact with the DISCOMs. And I must say that the level of cooperation between DISCOMs and the OMCs, that has been very good. Out of the number of chargers, which is not mentioned here, there are about 9,100 chargers. More than 6,200 chargers have been energized. About 1,700-1,800 chargers are still there, which have not been energized. So till now, 503 crore rupees has been sanctioned to different states, and the 4,874 charges have been sanctioned. Of course, many other states have submitted proposals. Those are also under the evaluation of the ministry now. Just for your information, that proposals can be submitted by states as well as central agencies. So, North, we have talked to National Highway Logistics and Management Logistics Company, NHMLC. So they are responsible for running these wayside amenities and tolls. So they would also be submitting proposals for charges on highways. Then Ministry of Civil Aviation, we have talked to the Airport Authority of India. So they would also be submitting proposals for charges on the airports. Then RLDA is handling the land-related issues in railways. And OMCs are there, of course, the states. So I think this we have covered in earlier presentations. So this was a brief on the status of the charging infrastructure. And I must submit before you that in order to meet the growing energy security crisis and the reduction of dependence on fossil fuels, under our Honorable Union Minister, all these schemes are meant to improve the EV ecosystem of the country. And once again, I would mention that it is not only increasing the number of EVs, but also the Indian EVs, the indigenization content of the EVs and the chargers. And that is where we must tread a very careful path. We have to grow towards the developed countries we talked about, the Germany's or the US or China for that matter. But these countries have grown because of sustained policies on their own domestic resources. There are some other countries of the world like Australia and South Africa where there are zero import duties and most of the things are imported. But we'll find that their growth is not sustained. And that is the place where I would like to appreciate the OEMs who have really put in the R&D, who have really put in the efforts to create these products which are workable, which are good in technology and which are at a competitive prices. So I hope that today's conference will be acting as a bridge where all of us can communicate, and under the leadership of our Union Minister and our Honorable Prime Minister, we will be well on our way to not only achieving the goal of net zero by 2070, but also doing it with Atmanirbhar Bharat at our heart. Thank you so much. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. I now request Shri Saurabh Dalela, sir, Director ICAT, to present a token of memento to sir. Thank you, sir. It's now time to hear from our chief guest, Honorable Union Minister for Heavy Industries and Steel, Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy, sir. With a big round of applause, may we invite him onto the dais. Sanmanya Kendra Sachivarada Shri H.D. Kumaraswamy ಅವರು ನಮ್ಮನ್ನ ಉದ್ದೇಶಿಸಿ ಒಂದೆರಡು ಮಾತನಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿ ಕೋರಿಕೆ.
Dr. Hanif Qureshi, Shri Naveen Mittal, Shri Gaurav Gupta, Shri Miraj Alam, Shri Deepti Ranjan, Mrs. Vaishali. Namaskaram to everybody. Distinguished dignitaries, senior officials, industry leaders, partners, and esteemed guests. Good afternoon all. It's a privilege to host this conference in Bangalore, a city that truly reflects India's spirit of innovation, enterprise, and technological leadership. I extend my warm greetings to my colleagues from the Ministry of Heavy Industries, representatives from BHEL, IFCI, NBSL, state governments, oil marketing companies, charge point operators, OEMs, and all stakeholders present today. I would like to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to the Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, whose visionary leadership continues to guide India toward a cleaner, greener, and self-reliant future. Under his dynamic leadership, India is advancing steadily towards the vision of Vikasit Bharat 2047, while remaining firmly committed to achieving net zero emissions by 2070. His emphasis on sustainability, innovation, and scale has transformed the way we approach mobility and energy in this country. India's automotive sector is not just an industry. It is a pillar of our economy. It contributes over 7% to our GDP, nearly half of manufacturing GDP, and supports the livelihoods of close to 30 million people. Ministry of Heavy Industries has initiated several schemes for making India's automotive sector competitive at the global level. The PLI SEC scheme, with an outlay of rupees 18,100 crores, encourages manufacturing of battery cells. PLI Auto, with an outlay of rupees 25,938 crores, promotes auto components and OEMs to make cleaner vehicles like EVs and hydrogen-based vehicles. The recently launched REPM scheme, with an outlay of rupees 7,280 crore for manufacturing of rare earth magnets, will make India self-reliant in this technology. Today, this sector stands at a historic transition from conventional mobility to clean electric mobility. At the heart of this transformation lies the PM E-Drive scheme, with a total outlay of 10,900 crore. This landmark initiative is accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles across segments: two-wheelers, three-wheelers, buses and trucks, while building the backbone of this transition, a robust nationwide EV charging infrastructure. Today's conference focuses on the most critical enabler of this economic ecosystem, EV public charging infrastructure. Recognizing its importance, 2,000 crore has been specifically earmarked under PM E-Drive to support the deployment of EV charging stations across the country. I am happy to announce approval for proposals of Karnataka involving 1,243 EV chargers with an outlay of 123.26 crore. So far, EV charging proposals with a total financial outlay of rupees 503.86 crore have been approved, covering the installation of 4,874 EV chargers across various states and CPSEs. I am little bit shaky about the amount what we released for Karnataka. Don't mistake me from other part of the states officials who are gathered here. This is the first phase of amount we have released out of 2,000 crore. I think 503 crores we have released in first phase. In second phase, whatever we have shown in this conference, about the development of your state regarding EV vehicle and charging stations. I promise you, from my department, we are going to support with all actually confidence, taking you whatever proposals you have actually shown in these slides today from your state. Definitely I am with you. The approved proposals include major CPSEs such as HPCL, IOCL and BPCL, as well as states including Rajasthan, Andhra Pradesh, Uttar Pradesh, Gujarat, Kerala, Telangana, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. I commend the proactive efforts of these states which are leading from the front in this transition. Bangalore has emerged as one of India's leading EV charging hubs. I urge other states to actively participate and accelerate implementation, ensuring that this transformation reaches every corner of our nation. I also appreciate the strong participation of oil marketing companies, BPCL, IOCL and HPCL, whose extensive retail networks present a tremendous opportunity to scale up fast charging infrastructure nationwide. Under the FAME 2, OMCs have installed 8,932 EV chargers with a total subsidy of 873.5 crore disbursed by the ministry. Of these, 721 EV chargers have been installed in Karnataka. Equally commendable is the role of charge point operators and industry leaders such as Tata Power, Charge Zone, Mahindra & Mahindra and others whose innovation and execution capabilities are shaping India's EV ecosystem. The ministry is working for the National Unified EV Charging App, that is Unified Bharat eCharge. This will be a game changer, enabling EV users to discover, access and pay across charging networks of every operator through a single trusted platform. Just as UPI revolutionized digital payments, UBC is set to revolutionize EV charging in India. The Ministry of Heavy Industries, in close coordination with the Ministry of Power, state governments and industry stakeholders, will ensure that grid readiness, standardization and digital integration keep pace with growing demand. Going forward, our roadmap for EV charging infrastructure will be guided by three core principles: accessibility, ensuring charging stations are available across urban and rural India; affordability, making EV charging cost effective for every citizen; reliability, delivering a seamless, safe and dependable user experience. This is not just about infrastructure, this is about building the foundation of India's clean mobility revolution. This is about reducing our dependence on fossil fuels, strengthening energy security, and creating a sustainable future for generations to come. I urge all stakeholders present here to move forward with a shared sense of purpose and urgency. Together, we are not merely installing charging stations, we are powering the future of India. The future is electric, and under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji, India is ready to lead this transformation on the global stage. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for being pillar of strength and for the assurance of the future of EV in India. I would now like to request Dr. Hanif Qureshi, sir, to hand over a token of appreciation and a memento to Honorable Minister. Thank you, sir. I would now like to request Shri Amarendra Kishore Singh, Director,